Good afternoon, everyone. Bob Dillerson here with your weekly One Piece news, and I have to say, what a day it is for Sanji fans. I mean, really, Sanji has now taken a new step in the right direction. Sanji is now Volcanic Leg Sanji. I know it's a funny pun, but listen, what we've gotten from Sanji is honestly, expeditiously, fantastically, the greatest thing we've seen in quite some time from the Vinsmoke Prince. However, there are a few things that we need to report. There are reports now that Sanji has converted to Islam. Very interesting. I guess it's the inspiration behind his new Diable Jambe, or should I say, Ifrit Jambe. Excellent stuff. But before we delve into the more Sanji-like stories, a word from Judge Vinsmoke, who has been glowing in his reviews of his son lately. More fraudulence from Judge? Let's find out. Let's move on.
Excuse me, Judge, a minute of your time. You seem overjoyed today. It seems that you've heard the news that your son Sanji is now built different. How do you feel? What's the thoughts that are going through your head at the moment?
Well, I mean, what can I say? It's my boy. It's my pride and joy. It's my son. I mean, listen, he got the Vinsmoke genes, man, just like I raised him. I taught him everything he knows. I taught him how to train with a sword, It was me who did that. It's all me. I did the exoskeleton, the super speed, you know what I mean? And I saw what he did to Queen. I saw that bum, trash, poor excuse for a scientist, Queen, trying to modify and use my kids' techniques and my techniques. But my son's the greatest creation of all. He couldn't copy the GOAT. He couldn't copy Sanji, because that's mine. That's my son. He's the Vinsmoke greatness. Did you see the Vinsmoke? See, first of all y'all know I love my son. I love my son. He's a sensational fighter. I'm not surprised he's like this. This is honestly the greatest day in German history, when my son has overcome all the trials and tribulations through the great guidance of his father, the Garuda. And now you're just seeing the results of great parenting. I'm just very proud to be here. I'm having a great time.
Very interesting thoughts from you, Judge. So just another question. Are you aware that your son has now converted to Islam? He is now a practicing Muslim based on his new Diable Jambe, which is called Ifrit Jambe, if I'm not mistaken. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that means, but my son, he's a king. He's a prince. My son can do whatever he wants. As long as he's, representing the German in the right way, whatever he chooses to practice, my son is a grown man. He can decide whatever he wants to do. I wouldn't say I really believe in religion. I believe in science. I consider myself an atheist, but, under the guidance of Sanji, I feel like we could all learn a little something from him. So why not? I embrace it. I'm a very open and open-minded man. I'm very, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know me, right? You know me. I'm Judge. Moral conscience through the roof, of course. We could all learn a thing from Sanji. Yeah, we could.
One last question, Judge. It's very shocking to me that you're so gung-ho about your son. We have a few reports here that you locked him in a cage. You also placed a metal helmet on his head and basically didn't feed him and abused him for quite some time at the age of 8. How do you respond to these allegations? They're quite jarring, if we're being honest.
I would never, ever do those things. Whoever said that, it's lies, it's slander, it's propaganda. I will never do that. I mean, look at the suit. Look at I'm representing my son. That's my boy. That's my blood. I would never do that to my blood. You see my kids. I all love them. I would never do that to. I mean, listen, look. I mean, we got merch out. Like, look at this. I mean, I know it's a little metallic right now, but man, look. We got Sanji. Look, you know what I'm saying? We got the little Sanji merch. We got the little pops. The little Sanji pop. It's like, yeah. I just never. No, I got all kinds of toys and knickknacks representing my son. I would never do that. I'm a good man. I've always been a good man. Everyone, my kids can vouch for me. My wife, God rest her soul, my wife, she could vouch for me as well. I would never do such a thing like that. I think that's all nonsense. It's garbage. It's propaganda. It's Big News Morgans. It's Big News Morgans behind that. You know what? If you're going to keep reporting big news articles of propaganda and fakeness like Luffy being a Yonko, yeah, I don't have any time. So you know what? We're done. Cut the camera. We're done. I'm out. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this.
Boy, that Judge is a piece of work. I mean, disgraceful father, but hey, what are you gonna do? Anywho, on to some later news. Before this chapter, there were allegations against Sanji for domestic violence, and a lot of us were concerned. A lot of us were worried. We're saying, no, not Sanji Vinsmoke, not our chivalrous king. But turns out the culprit has finally come forward. Sanji has beat the domestic violence allegations. He has been proven innocent. And now we know that the true culprit is notorious bigot, notorious abuser, Queen, the Plague. Warrants for his arrest are out, but based on last chapter, I don't think we have to worry about that anymore because Sanji packed him up like a blunt, and I'm definitely smoking that pack. But more later on. Stay tuned for the next update. Zoro's trial of the century. How will that go down? More next week. Thank you, everyone, and take care.